Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream. Today is June 26, 2025. It is currently 7:30 p.m. For those of you tuning in for the first time, my name is Adley Telford. I am the creator of the course, Simple Stock Trading, Simple Beginner Guide, now available on Udemy. I'm also the creator of the book, Better Thinking Habits, the Introduction Edition, now available on Amazon in paperback as well as in ebook. Both links to my course on Udemy as well as to the book that's on Amazon is in the description below. These live streams are part of a package deal that my students receive when they sign up for my course on Udemy. They get direct access to me, whether through WhatsApp, email, as well as through these live streams where they can ask questions in regards to any stocks that they're interested in. And as of right now, these live streams are scheduled Monday through Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As usual, we will get started with the first thing that we do every time when we do a one moment. Every time that we do the first thing that we do anytime that we do a live, we are going to go over to, let's go ahead and set this up here. We're going to go over to investing.com. And here at investing.com, we're going to go over to our economic calendar and see what big news or reports going to be released by the government for tomorrow. So here, we're going to click on tomorrow, and we're going to see what's happening tomorrow. Fed will be speaking. Members of the Fed will be speaking tomorrow, which is going to have somewhat of an impact. That's at 7:30, and we have some really big news that's going to be released around. After that, we do have some two-star events that's happening, but they're really not going to be that big of they're not going to have that big of an impact on the market. And then from there, really, a lot of two-stars of information that's coming out. Now, for those of you who took the course on Udemy, you'll remember me saying that we're primarily focused on our three-star events because those are reports that could have a huge impact on the market. But anytime we see clusters of two-star reports like this coming out back to back around 10 o'clock, between 10 and 1 o'clock, well, actually they're coming out for the whole day. We have the first set coming out about 10 o'clock, and a lot of them coming out at 10. Then we have 11:30 here. We have a 1 o'clock. We have two of them at 1 o'clock and another one over here at about 4:30. So we have a lot of information happening tomorrow. So tomorrow really would not be a great day to trade. I typically try to close out most of my trades on a Friday. I try not to trade on a Friday. And you've heard me say that throughout a lot of these lives. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of retail traders or day traders. On Friday is kind of like end of the week. They want to close out their trades, get out of any trades that they're currently in. And then the other thing is, with this current administration, we have a lot of things that happen over the weekend. And for those of you that currently have some experience trading, or, I always say you have to be up to date on what's happening in the news. And if you are going to be a trader, you have to be aware that the government, and I'm not going to say for whatever reason, but the government have a practice of release, especially here in the US, they release any kind of bad news over the weekend, hoping that it doesn't get that much media exposure. So I don't like to be in big trades over the weekend. I would not recommend any beginner trader be stuck in long-term trades, especially with this administration and the way things are going. Not that I have anything against this administration, but it's just that over the weekend, a lot of major things happen, and any major things could happen, just like we had last weekend. And you can be in a really good trade where the technical analysis from the charts that we've gone over show that the stock is supposed to go up, but something happens and it causes the stock to go down. So, but just based off of this economic calendar right here, we can see there's a lot of information that's going to be coming out. So a lot of reports, and these are two-star reports, and a few 3-star reports, and those are going to have a huge impact on the market. So I would not recommend trading, um, doing any kind of trades for tomorrow. Any trades that you're in as a beginner trader, and I'm speaking to traders that are new to trading, you may want to stay away from getting involved in any major trades right now for tomorrow, and just look forward to Monday. All right. So with that being said, typically our next step would be going over the FinViz, using the stock screener, and kind of filtering through and finding stocks, right? But because today is Thursday and we're going to try to close out any trades that we're in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip this for right now. We're going to come back and we're going to look at a few of these other pieces that we haven't looked at before, features on FinViz. But for right now, let's just go straight over to TradingView and let's look at our current watch list, right? And let's see if there's any stocks that we may want to remove from our watch list. And we're going to look at some of the trades that I'm currently in. So the first one we're going to look at over here is SMCI. I believe I jumped into this trade today. Yep, I did jump into this trade today, and I'll show you where I jumped into this trade. I jumped into this trade right about here at about 48.19. And I didn't wait for the day to close because here I can see that we were in a clear uptrend, green lines on top, pointing up, red lines at the bottom, pointing up, and this is what we call our moving average. Here on our RSI, I can see that it had just bounced off of the 50 mark and it was pointing back up. So we can see that we were in a clear uptrend with both of these indicators, and it had broken through that area of resistance, right? As a new trader, I would typically say, hey, you know what? You want to wait for it to close at the end of the day above that area of resistance before you buy it. Once you understand, well, for myself, I'm a little bit more of an experienced trader. So I felt comfortable looking at all the signs and saying, okay, I felt comfortable buying it here and knowing that it's going to break through it, it's going to close above it, and it has the potential to continue moving up all the way up to here, which is about 65, right? And that's why I bought this one earlier on today, right about here. And that's why we have a green mark next to it, letting as an indicator to myself, these are active trades that I'm in, and just to keep an eye on those. So here we have where the market actually closed. And if you're an experienced trader or you're somebody who's traded before, you're going to hear me talk about a lot of the stuff. You may be like, oh, wow, duh, that's common sense. But I am really, these videos are really targeted towards new traders, beginner traders, somebody who has no experience trading, and somebody who may be considering taking my course on Udemy. Uh, Here, this green price right over here is the closing price. So it actually closed at $49.27. And during the post market, it actually went up to $49.30. So it's still going in an upward trend. It did not break down during the post market and didn't go back below this area of resistance. Okay. Now, this is my chart, and these indicators that I have here on my chart are indicators that I show you how to set up um, on when you take my course on Udemy. All right. So this way you'll have your screen would look exactly like mine when you're following along with the live. Uh, the red lines are your areas of resistance, the blue lines are areas of support, and then these black lines right here, I typically just draw them just so just for myself and also individuals that are watching these live streams so they can understand like this area of resistance here is extending straight across until a new area of resistance pop up on the screen, and then we'll identify that as the most recent one. But as of right now, this is the most recent area of resistance on our daily time frame. All right. So this one right here, I'm going to stay in this trade. And I'm going to stay in this trade, and I'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow it should continue. Hopefully tomorrow, well, with all the information showing here, it should continue rising, unless something major happens with this particular sector right over here, which is computer processing hardware. I don't think anything right now happening geopolitically could really affect this. So I'm going to stay in this trade. If you are someone with a little bit more of a higher risk tolerance, you can actually buy this right here at this price, which is $49. If you buy it at $49, you would most definitely set your stop loss right here below this point right here, about $46. So what that basically means, at 46.97, roughly 47 dollars. And what that basically means is you're going to be putting $3, well, roughly about $2 at, 250 at risk for every stock that you buy. So you're saying, hey, I'll buy it here. If the stock continue going up, I'm going to make money and I can ride the wave all the way up to probably about 40, 65, $64. But if the stock goes against me, I want to sell once it gets to this price right here, which is about $46.85. So that basically means you'll be losing about $2.50 on for each stock that you own of this if you were to buy it, right? But you could still buy it here. Me, I bought it a little bit earlier today, right around here, about 48.19. I bought it earlier today because I knew that based off the indicators, like I said, it was going to continue rising. So that's one stock, right? That we're looking at from that I'm already in the trade for. That's why you see the green line here. Now, NNE. NNE is one of the other stocks that I bought, and I bought this stock earlier during the week. And I bought this, I believe, it was on Friday. I bought this on Friday and last week. And like I said, I don't normally buy stocks and like to hold on to them over the weekend, but because of the sector, this is manufacturing and this is electric parts, products, electronic products. So I didn't necessarily feel as if what's happening in the Middle East or geopolitically could really affect this particular sector. So I felt comfortable staying in this stock over the weekend. And what happened was I bought the stock at $37 and about 27 cents. And here we can see that the stock, we have the green line, which is our moving average, is on top. It's pointing upwards. We have our red line at the bottom, but it's also pointing upwards. It broke through this area of resistance right here on our daily time frame, but it came back down. But as you notice, it's kind of still hovering right around here in this area. It's not really going below this area right here where we have our stop loss, which is around like 35. So it's not really breaking that. So what's happening here is I know typically I would get out of a trade like this, but I know a lot of this stuff that happened here, this uncertainty, which caused us to come back and break through this area of resistance, which is not normal. I know that happened because of what's happening geopolitically with the Middle East and things that's happening in the news with a lot of uncertainty. So we may have a lot of institutional traders or investors, or even a lot of retail investors, retail traders who might have just got out of the stock because they assume that, oh, this stock. I wouldn't say institutional traders, more retail traders. I'll probably say more retail traders are the ones that got out of the stock and caused the price drop because they were thinking that this stock may be affected by what's happening in the Middle East. And that's not necessarily the question. That's not necessarily the thing. So even if you're not somebody who's too familiar with um, with with what stocks or sectors may be affected by certain news, one of the things that you want to do, and one of the reasons why I do recommend TradingView, is the fact that you have all the information here. I mean, nothing here is really being produced in the Middle East. If it was something with oil, I could see it being affected, but I feel very confident that this stock eventually, maybe tomorrow or by next week, is going to break back through this area of resistance, and we can ride that wave up to maybe about $45. So I felt very comfortable holding on to it, even though I bought it at $37 and now it's at 35, right? And so this stock, I'm going to stay in this trade. And the other reason I'm going to stay in the trade is because when you look over here at our RSI, we can see, like I said before, let me maximize this purple area right here, which is our RSI. And with our RSI, what we can see is that this line right here, this little faded line that coming straight across, this is our 50, this is the 50 mark, right? And as long as the stock is going above it, it's like you see here, it goes above and it comes back down, it goes above and it comes back down, and it's still above it. Now, as long as this is happening, this section right here, we can see that we're in an uptrend. When this happens, where it comes below the 50 and it comes back up and it goes and it stays below the 50, we're in a downtrend. Now, watch and see what happens when I minimize this. So this was that S section right here that we were just looking at, right? This is that section that we were just looking at where it's below the 50 line right here. And as you can see, we were in a downtrend. And this is when it was above the 50. And as you can see, we were in an uptrend. So as long as it stays above the RSI is my first indicator. The RSI is kind of like that early indicator to let you know if it's about to switch from an uptrend to a downtrend. So if this breaks below that 50 and it starts sinking below it and it comes down to here, maybe like 40 or maybe even 35, then I'm going to go ahead and know that it's possibly going to be reversing into a downtrend, right? So that's one of the things. That's one of the stocks I bought. I'm going to stay into it, um, and I'm going to go from there. The next one is going to be OKLO. Now, this stock, I'm already in this particular trade as well. I'm in this trade as well for this stock. Same thing here. We had a lot of uncertainty over the weekend, and this one is for Monday right here. This candlestick is from Monday, coming out of the weekend. Coming out of the weekend, there was a lot of uncertainty. We didn't know what was going on with Iraq. I'm sorry, with with Israel and Iran. So with all this stuff happening, the market was kind of like there was a lot of uncertainty. So this was where it was on Friday. It dropped down over here on Monday, and then Tuesday it was here. Um, and so I bought it here when it broke through and it closed above it, and the stock came back down underneath it. It came back down below the area of resistance. But once again, this is not something that normally happens. Once it breaks through, it normally continues going up. But with everything that's happening geopolitically, I kind of understand why there's a lot of up and down, like there's a lot of jitters in the market. But I'm comfortable. Once again, same thing. Moving average, green lines on top, pointing straight up. Red lines at the bottom, pointing straight up. We have the area of resistance here. It's not really tanking. Over here on our RSI, it's still above the 50. As you can see, it was overbought at one time, and then it came back down, and it's about to bounce right back up. So I feel very confident, and we had a green candle today, so it actually closed up higher than it closed up higher than yesterday. So I feel very confident that it's going to go back up. Now, for those of you who are watching this and you may be a little bit more of an experienced trader and you're wondering why I'm not using all of the big terminologies and the big words, is because, like I said, these videos are really targeted towards beginner traders. So I'm trying to really make sure that people don't get lost with all of the crazy terminologies. But like I said, this setup right here and all of the indicators are simply this green line, which is our moving average, the red line, our RSI over here, the resistance and support indicators. All of these I show you how to set up once you sign up for the class on Udemy, and you'll understand how they work and why we have them here and how to utilize them. So this particular trade right here, I'm going to stay in this trade and I'm going to see what happens tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to break above that area of resistance again, because right now the market actually closed at 55.85. Post market, after the market closed, you see it rose to 56.27. So after the market closed, in institutional traders and everybody else who still have access to be able to trade after the market close, you can see that they bought into it. They bought into the stock and they caused it to rise um, about 75 cents, because people not going to say 75 cents, I'll say more like 50 cents, because they felt comfortable that that this particular stock is going to go up. So I'm going to hold on to this stock for right now. Okay, and I'll see what happens to it tomorrow. Another stock that you know what? These are the there's three trades that I'm currently in. This one right here with no symbol on it, meaning this was just added to my watch list. It never really hit the area where I wanted to buy into the stock. So as you can see here, we have a clear area of resistance that we drew in here, and it doesn't show up on our daily time frame. So what I do is here, how I identified this, for those of you who have not watched some of my previous videos, is I typically I trade on a daily time frame, but I normally use the 4-hour time frame as an early indicator to see areas of resistance. Like this area of resistance right here, which is this red line that I have this red line over here is what is an indicator that the system inputted. I just draw that black line there so I can see that on the 1-hour time frame. So they've clearly indicated that this is an area of resistance on our 4-hour time frame. So here, when I switch over to the daily time frame, there is no area of resistance, because the area of resistance is going to show up on a 4-hour time frame first before it shows up on our daily time frame. So I know that this is an area of resistance right here, right? And the area of resistance, and I always say area of resistance because the area of resistance is really like a little like a little zone. It's not just one straight line. Now, what happens is now that I've identified this area of resistance on my daily time frame, I set my alarm. I set an alarm here at 102:16. Basically, once that, and this is today's candle, you see it went right there up to the line, but it didn't cross over or close above it. So therefore, I did not get an alert, but I'm pretty sure that probably tomorrow, um, this right here may go above it. Now, I have a little bit of concern, and I'm not going to take this off my list yet, but I have a little bit of a concern. And my concern is this: we have that little curvature right here. This little curvature is kind of like an indicator that we may be turning over to go into a downtrend, because here you can see when we were in a downtrend and we had the red lines on top, the red line moving average on top, the green line moving average is at the bottom. That's a clear indication that we're in a downtrend. Now, you can see that we're in a clear downtrend, but as they get closer and closer together, that was that indicator as they start to get closer together that we're probably going to be switching over. And there we go. The green line goes on top, which is our moving average, and the red line moving average goes to the bottom, and therefore now we're in an uptrend. So when you see these two coming closer together like this is kind of like a little bit of a warning that, hey, we might be, they may consolidate, and this may cross over and go into a downtrend. But here if you look at our RSI, you can see that it did go right below the 50 mark, which is that little light, just little light dotted line over here. It did go below it, but then now it's rising up above it, right? So we still have a chance to break through this tomorrow. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And if it does break through this tomorrow, then I more than likely may end up buying it and holding it over the weekend. I can do that because I have a little bit of a higher risk tolerance. Now, let's say I buy this tomorrow at 102.23, and on Monday it comes down to maybe 96, 95. It opens up this low. I can afford that risk tolerance. Um, but if you're a brand new trader, I would not necessarily recommend it because you may not have that kind of a risk tolerance. All right, because you don't want to put all your money into. Because even if you're a new trader and you're starting off with maybe two to $200 to $300, then what's going to happen is, if you're starting off with $200, you're only going to be able to buy 2 shares of stocks. So I wouldn't even recommend that. But it does have a really good ATR, which is $5.95, $5.92. So it does have a really good ATR though. So that means if you were to buy two stocks if you had $300, you buy three stocks, you can make a potential $18 in one day of trading with this particular one. All right. So the next one we're going to look at is CRDO. Okay, CRDO. Let's take a look at this one. All right, now with this particular stock over here, what do we have? All right, so this one we did not buy it. And the reason why we didn't buy it is because I missed the opportunity to buy it here when it first broke through, right? And this is typically how a stock should go. It should break through that area of resistance and continue going up. I was hoping that it would come down just a little bit more and I can buy it here. I'm trying to, in each one of these trades that I'm in, I just put $500 on each one of these trades, right? So if I was to buy this stock for $95, that means I can only buy five of them. And, it's not really worth buying it at $5 right now it's at 95 and setting my stop loss at 85. That means I have to be willing to take a $10 loss on basically each stock. And if I was to buy five of them, I take a $10 loss. That's $50 loss on this stock right over here. The indicators are clear that it's going to break. It broke through. It's in an uptrend. Green line moving average is on top. Red line moving average at the bottom. Both of them pointing up. On a RSI, everything is pointing up. So here, is broken through an area of resistance. It can continue going up. And this one is a technology service, information technology service. Okay, so this is the type of stock it is. You know what? I may end up just buying this one because right here, nope, I'm not going to buy it. And here's why. This is why I didn't buy it. And this is sometimes why I have to look at my notes. I did not buy this one because this is a new area, new price point. It hasn't been up here before. So we cannot clearly identify where where the take profit would be and where the possible next point of resistance would be. So if I buy it at this price point of $95 and I tie up $500 in this particular stock, would it necessarily be worth it for me? Because when you hit these new areas or these new highs, the stock can, stagnate because a lot of investors don't know what's going to happen. It's a new area. So as you can see here, it hit a new area of resistance, a new high, it came down. It went up here, it hit a new high, and it bounced right back down, right? And here it hit a new high, and it's been in this same area for the past 2 days. So this candlestick is for Wednesday, and this one is for today, which is Thursday, right? So it's kind of stagnant there. So that's why I didn't even bother buying it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and take that off and delete this one from my watch list because I don't even want to bother having it showing up here or keeping an eye on it. Next one is going to be United. I think it's United. Let's see. No, okay, ALAB. Yeah, so we just took a look at this one. Yeah. So let's look at United Airlines right over here. United Airlines was highlighted yellow because this is one of the stocks that I wanted to keep an eye on, right? Now, with United Airline, we can see that we are in somewhat of an uptrend, but this one looks like a sideways, it's going to be a sideways trend. And I was really waiting for this stock to maybe come down here and hit this price point and then buy it here where it bounces off this area of support and then bounce back up and hit this area of resistance. But right now, it's kind of stagnant. It's sitting right here between $79 and $77. So it's been here for the past 3 days and it's not moving, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and take this one. I'll leave this one right now. For now, I'll just leave this one on my watch list. But we're just going to take that orange tag off because it's not something that it doesn't seem like it's really moving much right now. It's kind of stagnated right between this area right here. And most other investors or traders, they know that this is going to be a sideways trend. So nobody's probably really buying it because it can bounce up and then go back down, or it can go back down and then bounce back up. So right now, that's why it's not really moving that much. It's in a real awkward area right now. Next stock that we're going to look at that's on my watch list is COHR. Let's see here on our daily time frame. All right. So this particular stock, it broke through that area of resistance, and I actually missed this one this morning. I missed this trade this morning because this morning I got tied up doing something, and I remember looking at this yesterday, and I said, okay, the reason why it's yellow actually was because first thing in the morning today I was supposed to buy it, and I missed out on buying it at this price point over here, which would have been a great price point. It actually opened up at 86.51, and now it's at $90. So yeah, I missed that opportunity this morning to buy it. And it opened up at 86.51. It came down as low as $84. So I kind of missed out on that opportunity right there. Uh, I'm gonna have to read. Let's see here. What are we expecting with this one? We're expecting this one to go as high as it can go as high as $100. And what are we looking at? If I bought it here, so we bought it here at 90, we would set a stop loss right here below it, and that would be about $82. So you're roughly going to be putting, if we were to buy it, we'll roughly be putting in about $8 at risk, about 750 at risk for each trade that we get. So we got to say, hey, look, I'm buying it here at $90. I expect it to go up, but if it does come down and it comes down as low as $82.45, we're going to cash out because that's below that area of resistance. Okay. In this area of resistance, we were able to identify this one on our 4-hour time chart, like we did before, right here. And this area of resistance is probably going to show up on a daily time chart in maybe the next 3-4 days. Okay. But that was one trade that I missed for today. But I'll keep an eye on it, and depending on where it opens up tomorrow, if it opens up just a little lower, I may buy it, or I just may buy it at this price point of $90 of $90. It closed today at $89.88, but after post market trading, it went as high as $90. So we'll see where it opens up tomorrow, and I'll try to buy it before it gets too high and too far away from our area of resistance. Okay, Roku. I don't know why I keep leaving that one on there. For those of you watching for the first time, I don't like to trade well-known household name stocks, and Roku is a well-known household name. because anything bad that happens with Roku or any bad news that comes out, it could really affect that stock. So we're just going to delete that one off my watch list. So the next one that we have on our watch list is going to be WPM. Which one is that? Okay. And this one is a non-energy material precious metals. Okay. So this one had just broken through an area of resistance. It came down here, and now it's bouncing back. It's going back up, right? So we have a clear upward trend. We have our green line, which is our moving average, is pointing straight up. And then we have our red line moving average, which is also at the bottom and is pointing straight up. So that's showing that we're in a clear upward trend, right? Now, the next thing that we want to look at is this. Has it ever been in this price point, this area? No, this is the high. This is the high. This is one of the new highs for this particular stock, right? It can continue rising and going up, right? But if I'm a brand new trader and I'm starting off with $300 to $500, do I really want to take the chance of buying a stock that's hitting a brand new high, not knowing when a lot of investors who probably bought a lot lower are going to cash out because they are afraid and they don't know when it's going to crash, right? And now, if we click on this little icon over here, we can also see any kind of news that's come out in the last couple days or whatever the case may be. And there's nothing major that I can see that's really caused it to go up. But I'm just going to stay away from this stock and hold because it's a new high. All right, so we're going to take that off our watch list. Next one I'm going to look at is LSCC. LSCC. All right, let's take a look here. We're going to go with, we're looking at on a daily time chart. Yeah, this stock right now, let's take a look on our 4-hour time frame. On our 4-hour time frame, we have an area of resistance, which is right here at 51, and it can go up as high as here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in our area of resistance right here. I'm going to extend that so visually we can see it. And I'm going to set up an alert right here when it passes that area. I'm going to set that up on our trend line. And what that does is, let's see here. Yeah, so we have an alert already set up here. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be waiting for it to break through. And once it touches this area and breakthrough, we can buy it and just ride the waves up to maybe about 56. So we can get a $6 move on this one. And if you have an account with about 500, you can buy roughly close to about 10 shares of this stock. And off those 10 shares, you multiply that. If it goes up to 56, that's about $6 on each of those, on each one of those shares. So that's about a $60 profit that you can make on this one, right? And you can set your stop loss right here at the very bottom of this one. So that's a good stock to look at. The next one I'm going to look at is Oakley, which is a stock that I'm currently in, OKEL. And this stock right here, we're doing pretty well. Let's take a look here. We bought this stock at roughly about 80. I think we bought this at 80. And we bought it because of the 4-hour time frame. It just bounced off of this area of support right over here. And we believe, and the way I'm looking at this could be what they call a sideways. This could be a sideways trend where it's hitting this area of support and it's going to bounce up and go as high as maybe 85. It could possibly go a little bit higher. I was expecting it to hit this area and then go as high as about 87. But on our 4-hour time frame, we can see that we can clearly now identify a new area of resistance that's popping up over here. And as each day goes by, this area of resistance is going to get longer and longer until a new one pops up. All right. So our new area of resistance, if we, it would be our new sell point would be $85.14. So I'm going to move my alert that I have here. I'm going to move that up right to here to about $83.70, right below this $5 area right over here. But I'm already in this trade and I'm already in the green with this one. So that's great. Next stock that we're going to look at is GRR. This one has a green mark next to it, meaning I'm already in this particular trade. This trade, I'm in it, and right now we're fine with this one. We're still in an upward trend. We're above this area of support. This is the area of support. This is our area of resistance. That's on a 4-hour time frame, but we're trading on a one. Okay, so we're still above that area of resistance, even when we look at it on a daily time chart, which is right here. Let's take a look here. So we're right here, so we're still above it. So we're looking pretty good, and we're at the beginning of an uptrend, which is why I jumped into this particular trade right over here. We're at the very beginning of an uptrend. We have our green lines on top, our red lines at the bottom, which is our moving average. And we have a nice golden crossover. And so now, only thing we got to do is we just got to sit there and wait. And I'm going to hold this one over the weekend because of the sector that it's in. All right, package software. All right, really, I don't see anything major right now that can affect this particular sector or industry as of right now. Okay, and once again on our RSI, you can see that we're still above the 50 as well. So we're clearly in an upward trend. So I feel very comfortable with this stock, and I'm going to hold on to it over the weekend and see what happens here. I do have a stop loss set right over here about 1950, but I don't think that I have to worry about that really getting triggered anytime soon. But we'll see what happens tomorrow, because right now, when you see a candlestick like this one, that means it's like a cross. It's like the market's indecisive. It basically closed exactly where it opened. It went up high, came down low, but it closed exactly where it opened. So that's letting you know that there's a little bit of there's like indecisiveness right now in the market with this particular candlestick. But with all of my indicators, I feel like, hey, you know what, this is going to continue going up. So I'm going to stay in this trade, and that's why I have my green here on this one. Next stock that we're going to look at from the watch list is going to be SMR. All right, so with this particular stock, let's see what's happening here. All right, so I was looking at this stock for a couple of reasons. We are in an uptrend. We have our green line right here pointing straight up, and it's on top. Our red line's at the bottom and it's pointing up, which lets us know what our moving averages. Right now, we are in a clear uptrend, right? And because we're in a clear uptrend, and these are the indicators that I show you how to get if you sign up to my Udemy course, which is in the link below. You can see that we're in a clear uptrend. It broke through this area of resistance over here. And this area of resistance, we can see that this is an area of resistance when we go over to our 4-hour time chart, right? On our 4-hour time chart, we see that area of resistance has already popped up, and that's why I drew this black line here. And if you go on our daily time frame, which is what I typically trade on, you can see that that area of resistance haven't showed up yet on our daily time frame, but it will. It typically shows up on our 4-hour time frame first, and then a few days later. It can take up to 10 days before it actually shows up on our daily time frame. But here I saw it, and the reason why I had it here and I had it in yellow was because it was very high when I looked at it. When I added it to my watch list, and I think that was like Tuesday, I added it to the watch list when it was up here, and the price point was 43. And I was hoping for exactly what happened here. I was hoping for it to come back down and test that area of resistance, right? And now that stock price is at $38.28, 24 cents. Tomorrow I can purchase this if it's in this price range, and I can set my stop loss right about here at about $35, and I'm only putting $3 at risk for each stock. Now, if I had bought the stock all the way up here at the very top at $42, well, $43 right up here at $43, and I set my stop loss all the way down over here at $36, I'm putting I'm putting at risk at least $7 to $8 for each stock that I buy. So when you're identifying a clear entry point, you want to get your entry point as close as possible to your stop loss point. And that's why you notice I had this little orange line here at 37.67. But tomorrow during pre-market trading, it could go up or it can come down a little bit. But I know right now it's in an area where I can buy it and I can set my stop loss like right around here at around 35 and not put so much money at risk in case the market goes in an opposite direction. But I feel very confident that it's going to continue going in an upward trend because moving averages, green lines on top pointing up, red lines at the bottom is pointing up. So we're clearly in the uptrend over here. Secondly, we have on our RSI, you can see that it's right above that 50 line mark, right over here. So it's above the 50. It came down, it bounced, it hit it and went up, and it came back down, and it's going to hit it up and go up again. So everything here is showing that we're in a clear uptrend. So the chances that it's going to break through this area of resistance and then turn around is very slim, next to none, unless something major happened in the news, which is our fundamental analysis when you're looking at what's happening in the news. But with this particular industry, which is electric products, you don't necessarily have to really worry about that, because really nothing right now is happening. Even what's happening in the Middle East is not really going to affect this sector. So I'm going to buy this thing first thing in the morning. I'm going to buy the stock first thing in the morning now. And each one of these stocks that I have a green on, I put $500 into them because I'm trading as if I'm a beginner trader, along with the people that have taken my course, so they can see um, at the end of every month how much money we made if we were to put $500 into certain trades. Now, I may be at a little bit of an advantage than the people taking my course, and the reason for that is because if you're a beginner trader and you're only starting off with $300 to $500 in your account, you may not be able to buy every single one of these stocks. But I'm buying that. I'm buying each one. If there's a stock that I'm recommending that you buy, I'm going to buy it, just to show that I'm also following the same things that you learned within the course. The next stock that we're gonna do is gonna be MP. All right, let's see what this one is. MP right over here. So here's another stock. We clearly identified a possible area of resistance right over here. And what I was waiting for was for the stock price to come down a little bit more and then bounce up off of it and go back up, right? But what happened was, in doing further research, let's go to our 4-hour time frame. Okay, so 4-hour time frame. This one right here, if I buy it here at this price of $35, and I say my area of my actual system area of resistance is right down over here, but for me this is a visual area of resistance area right over here. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it to see what happens, because this is a brand new uptrend that's just started here. As you can see with our moving averages, we have our green lines on top, it's pointing up. Our red lines at the bottom, it's also pointing up. So this really is a new start. So I like to jump on them when they first start, but I need to get a very clear area of resistance. I drew this in as a reference point to myself. Now, the next stock, INOD, this is a stock that I'm actually in. I bought this stock today, actually. So I bought this stock, and when I bought this stock, uh, I bought it actually right before it broke through this area of resistance, because with all of and this is something that I normally wouldn't recommend to a brand new trader or somebody who's not really, really familiar with trading. But the reason why I bought it here is because I bought it a little lower, around like 49. And the reason I bought it there is because I saw that we had a new fresh crossover where our moving average, the green line went on top and is pointing up, red lines at the bottom, but it's also pointing up. So that lets me know I'm in an uptrend. This was an area of resistance that we clearly identified here, and we can identify that on our 4-hour time frame. As you can see, that's an area of resistance. And on both the 4-hour time frame as well as on the daily time frame, our RSI, it's above the 50 and it was pointing up. Our RSI, you can see here, it was pointing up. So, and if you look here on our daily time frame, it's also pointing up, right? So we have our RSI, which is pointing up. It's above the 50. It tapped onto the 50 and it went back up. And then here we have a clear indication that we're in an uptrend. So I was very confident that it was going to break through this area of resistance. And it closed right there on that area of resistance. So tomorrow, I feel very confident that it's actually going to continue rising and going up. And this is a really, really good stock that I bought. And the reason why I say that is because it's $50. I bought it at 49. And look at this. Our ATR is $4.20, meaning this stock on average for the last 14 days has gone up or down about $4.20 every day, right? For the last 14 days. Today, it actually went up a total of $5.57. So this stock is really moving. There's a lot of movement in this stock. Okay. Tomorrow, I have a feeling once it clearly breaks through this area of resistance, we can ride the wave all the way up to $69, right? And the projected, what right now, what are they looking at? This, see, we have clear buy when it comes down to technical analysis, which is what we're looking at right here. And then these are individuals, companies that actually give a signal on what they think the stock price, if it's a good buy or sell, and analysis. They actually believe that it's a good buy as well. So we have two buys, right? There's certain words you just can't say. I'm sorry. Um, and then over here, the 1 year price target is $64.40. So right now we're at $51, but the price target is $64. And in this economy, we can actually break through that and go as high as 69. So I'm going to ride the wave up to about the $64 point. I'm actually expecting it to go as high as 68, but we'll see what happens with this one. But if you haven't bought this, first thing tomorrow morning when the market opens up at about 9 o'clock, as long as it's above this area right here, which is like the $51, like I'll say $52 mark, I recommend that you buy it because that means it's broken through that area of resistance. Right now it's 51.96, but once it hits like 52, is clearly above that area of resistance. You can buy it and you can just ride the wave up. It's gonna come down a little bit, but it's gonna go back up and you can ride the wave. This might be a 1 week hold and you get it. All right, next stock that we're going to look at is going to be uh, NPIS. NPIS. Oh, why didn't I buy this? Did I miss out on this? Oh, wow. I can't believe it. I missed out on this. Where's my alert? Okay. Well, something happened here. Why did I not get this alert? Okay, I see why. I did not set an alert here. Okay, guys, this is important. Whenever you set whenever I add something to my watch list, you'll notice I'll always set up that yellow line, that alert, basically letting me know once the stock broke through that area of resistance to alert me. Like I drew the line here, but for some reason I just forgot to put the alert here. Because a lot of the stuff I'm doing live. So when I'm doing when I'm picking this watch list and I'm doing this stuff live, sometimes certain things, because I get caught up explaining things, I might forget. So this is an opportunity that I lost right over here, right? So this morning I could have bought this stock price because this is the candlestick. It broke through this area of resistance. I could have bought it over here at 50. Right now the price point is at 52. But if I buy it here at 52.60, I would have a set of stop loss right down underneath here, right? Now it's tested this area before, so what I'm going to do is let's take a look here. Let's look on a 4-hour time frame. Okay, so here it is. So I want you guys to see something here. This is really cool. I'm sorry, it's not cool. It's kind of nerdy to say that. Okay, on our daily time frame, you can see here on our daily time frame, our point of resistance is 51.14, right? It's like basically it's $50.94. That's our area of resistance on a daily time frame. But before I trade anything, I normally like to look at it not only on my daily time frame, but I also like to look at it on the 4-hour time frame. Here, everything is showing that we're up. But when I see that it's come up and it's hit this area here and it bounced back down and it's gone up and hit that area again, then it's come back down, that lets me know that the zone, because you always hear me say the area of support and resistance, it's an area. It's not just one line, but it's an area. So when you click on your 4-hour time frame, you can see this is the 4-hour. On the 4-hour time frame, this right here is the top of that area of resistance. So it starts here and it ends here. So the stock can get, as long as it's in this zone, then it's in that zone of the area of resistance, meaning it can go as high as here and then bounce back down. So I'm going to set my alarm right here above it. And let's set my alarm. And when I set that alarm right there above it, you can see this yellow line that pops up here at this price, meaning as soon as the price goes above this, it's going to send me an alert. And I know that I'm going to I'm going to know that I'm going to buy it once it closes above that area, because the chances are now it's broken through that zone of area resistance and it's going to continue rising up. All right. So instead of drawing two lines here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to put in a clear box here like this, and I'm going to paint that red. So this way I know, and then now I can delete this area. I can delete this, remove, and I can remove this. I can just remove this one over here. Now what I can do is I can go back to my daily time frame, and I know that, see, this right here lines up with this on my daily, and on my 4 hour, this is the top. So now no matter what I look at it, I can see that this is the starting point for the area of resistance. You see how it hit it and it came back down? This is the starting point, and this is the top of it. So once it's broken through here, this very top area, I'm going to get that alert and I can buy into the stock. Okay. So yeah, that's why I said it's kind of cool. I get a little excited about weird stuff, I know. All right, so this is a stock that I'm going to probably list at orange because tomorrow, with all the indicators that I see here, it can break through it. Now, whenever you see these little lightning symbols here, it basically lets you know that some type of news came out. Okay, AI infrastructure, nothing major or crazy happening here, so I can just close that out. Next stock that we're going to look at is going to be WFRD. WFRD. All right, so here you can see we can actually turn this yellow, orange, put an orange label on this one now. The reason for that is because we can now see here we are in a clear uptrend with our moving average, green lines on top pointing up, red lines at the bottom, it's also pointing up. Here on our RSI, we can see that it came down below the 50 mark and now it's broken back above it and is clearly pointing up. So it looks like we're about to be going back into a clear uptrend. This is our area of resistance right up here. And what we're waiting for, and you see I have my orange labels, my orange price alert set up here, which I didn't have on the last one, but you notice I have it here and it's at $50.81. Once that hits that price point, I'm going to get an alert. And once it closes above it, I'll probably buy it here and just ride the wave all the way up. All right. So we're gonna change that one to orange because this can hit it tomorrow. All right. And is this one I'm gonna hold over the weekend? I'm going to hold on to this one over the weekend because this is equipment, okay? Industrial service, oil field service and equipment. So this basically has to deal with oil, right? Now, either way we win because right now, Iran is going out and you have to know what's going on in the news. Iran is saying, hey, we're not going to go ahead and we're not going to concede. We're not going to surrender. Iran may retaliate against the U.S. and there may still be, we may still be on high alert, which means oil prices may go up. They provide oil services and equipment. So we may have to start digging oils, and Iran may decide to attack certain oil fields for U.S. allies or whatever the case may be. So this stock right here is in a good position. So we're gonna have this one orange because it looks like it's about to break through as well. We have two more stocks that we have to look at. This one is AAOI. All right, so this one just recently broke through this area of resistance right over here. And I got this one listed. I was looking at it here and I was waiting for it to do a pullback. It did not do a pullback. It actually just clearly broke through it and it doesn't look like it's coming back down. So if I buy it here at 27.77, I got to set a stop loss all the way over here at $20. So that means I've got to be willing to put $20 at risk. $7 at risk for every for every share or stock that I buy. I'm just not ready to do that. I would like to see if it comes back down a little bit. This one is electric technology, semiconductors. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I may end up buying it at this price point, but I would have loved to get it when it was down here. But I missed out on that opportunity with this particular one because, once again, no alerts. I have no alarm set up. All right, so let's go ahead and set an alarm right here. Not at the trend line. Let's go ahead and just set up one right over here. So we don't have an alarm set up here. Oh my gosh, and that's how I missed out on this opportunity. That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna set that right here, and I'll say, okay, you know what? I'll set it at 23. When it comes down to 23, that means I'm willing to put $3 at risk for every stock that I buy. If I buy it at 23 and I set my stop loss at about $20. Okay, so cool. Let's see what happens with that one. And this is one which was blue, meaning I should have been buying this first thing in the morning, and I don't know how I missed that one, right? So we're gonna make that on orange. Now this stock over here is a very interesting stock. And the reason why I think that this one is a very interesting one is because we talked about this. Um, we talked about this all week, which is, and I'm going to try to cover it every day. We have your technical analysis, which is what we're doing right now. We're looking at the charts. We're looking at all this information on the chart, this technical stuff, and they're letting us know green lines on top, it's pointing up, red lines at the bottom, moving average is nearly pointing up, and here's an area of resistance. It just broke through that area of resistance, right? Here on our RSI, you can see it's above the 50 and it's pointing up. So we would think that this is a great stock to buy, right? And this is why I listed it as a stock to look at. And I was supposed to buy this first thing in the morning. Once again, thank goodness, um, I did not set the alarm here, right? So if I had set my alarm, I would have gotten an alarm once the stock had passed a certain price point, or first thing in the morning at 9:30, I would have gotten an alert and I would have bought the stock. I did not set one here. But also, the other thing is this morning when I did go back to look at it, and the only reason I left it here is because I wanted to discuss this with you guys. The reason why I did not buy this morning is because if you click on this alert right over here, this little lightning bar over here, you see where the COO, right, Chief Operation Officer, has sold off 2,000 shares. That's 3 hours ago, right? But over here, you see where the corp director, he sold all shares, all of his shares, right? And insiders have sold over 500 and some 500 over $500,000 worth of shares of stock. Now, when these guys say they want to sell a stock, right, and they file it with the SEC, they have to report this not a day in advance, but normally like a week or 2 weeks in advance. So these guys, you know, these are directors here. They sold all their shares of the stock. So they know something, like something's happening with this company. And this company is, something's going on that's going to cause this company to basically, something may be going on internally that's bad with this company. So once I saw that, I can see that all of my indicators here are showing me that there's going to be a rebound and the stock is going to go up. But the fact that that information came out, I'm going to just basically red flag this company as red. And I leave this on my watch list with a red, basically saying never to touch it. Don't, well, not never, but don't touch the stock for the next week or month or so, and try to do some more unless you do more information on it and find out what's going on, because there's something internally that's happening that caused these people to sell off their stock. Okay, so yeah, so that's all of the stocks on my watch list. We have some stocks in here that we want to keep an eye on, that we want to trade probably tomorrow. We want to buy tomorrow, but these are stocks that's not really going to be affected by any kind of geopolitical news that's happening. But we'll see. I typically don't, like I said, I typically don't like to be in trades over the weekend, and I would not recommend that to a new trader um, because of the environment that we're in. But if you do decide to buy a stock and be stuck in the trade over the weekend, try to buy stocks that are not um, well-known household name stocks, because if something crazy happens over the weekend or at any time, that stock price can plummet. Secondly, try not to buy anything that's currently in the news a lot, like anything related to oil, shipping, different things like that, uh, or any kind of military defense stocks, because anything that can happen right now and those stocks can just plummet. All right. So that's it for right now. I'm going to be posting up, and instead of just doing lives only, I'm going to start posting up some videos in regards to some of the things that we cover here. But these won't be live videos. These will just be some instructional videos on a little bit more on how to use FinViz or some of the different features on FinViz. And I'll be also posting some videos on how to use TradingView a little bit. But if you just want a one-stop shop center where you can just learn everything that that you need to know in order to start trading, or how to set up your chart like this with all these indicators and what they are, like I said, I would recommend that you sign up for the course that I have on Udemy in the link below. But that's it for today. If you have any questions, or if you're new to my channel, or you just want to see what's going on, I would truly recommend that you go back and watch some of the previous videos that I have. Um, and so you can kind of see how we filter through and find all these stocks that we have. All right. So, guys, y'all have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see y'all next time at the same time, same place.